Hi there, my name is Sean Logue. This is my Jing for week 3 of the online database design and management using SQL class at Manchester Community College, February of 2019. So this week, I was sick and I ended up not getting my work done on time for week 2. As it turns out, though, I thought part of week two's work was populating the table, which was actually this week's lab. So this will sort of be a combination of week 2 and 3. I created the table and I populated it last week. Since I did do that last week, I'm sort of afraid that if I change too much, I will commit irreparable harm to my program since I'm a tiny bit rusty and it's been a few days. So what I figured I would do is I would just show you a little bit of my table, and then I would also show you some of the code that I used to change the table and create it that I have saved in a notepad, and it proved incredibly useful. So anyway, if we want to show a table such as hitting, uh, oops, we can do that. It's not very pretty, so just to make it a little bit clearer, select rank, team, league, hitting, and we can see this here in the following ranks. So yeah, this is the hitting. It has all the stats up here. Excuse me. I only showed a couple stats here just to make it a little bit clearer. If I also do the same from rank, team, league, from pitching. So you'll see it's the same teams, obviously in a different order because you're talking about pitching, and the teams obviously did different in hitting versus pitching. So yeah, this is the tables. I guess I'll just move on to the code now. So these are some of the commands I used. You might notice that not all of them are on here, and I think I mentioned it in the wiki. When I started doing this, I would just type all this out, the insert into hitting values. This right here, you have to type it out once, and then like they were showing in the tutorials point video, you can just sort of hit, I think it's backslash in order to get it to show up again if that's the last command you did. I didn't want to do that because I, how would I say it? It was sort of a tedious process, and I didn't want to lose any of my work. So I was committing after every entry that I would put into the table. So, excuse me. So I didn't want to do that. So I was copying and pasting. And even doing that, as I was finishing the hitting table and everything, I a couple times for whatever reason I would accidentally copy something else or just the empty space, and then I would paste and I would lose all my code, so I had to write it all out again. And halfway through a table, it's just not pretty. It's messy and inefficient. So I started writing them down. So I started with the hitting table insert, and I used these. I'm in the XML class, and these sort of remind me of character entities. So they're sort of like placeholders, and they allow you to just enter all this information one by one in all these different categories every time you enter this command. I also had the alter table command. This is the employees table. I took this directly from the tutorials point video before. I remembered knowing how to alter it then, but I had forgotten in the intervening week. So I decided to save this as well because I thought it was genius to write all these down, even though you've told us a million times. So yeah, and then you can see the other ones: create table pitching, has all this, then the pitching table insert for each team, and then I would just go down. I didn't mess around with default values for the table. I wasn't actually sure how default values would work. I suppose I could just not put something down when I entered. I could just hit enter when it asked for instance, the league, and it would just automatically fill with AL, provided that not null wasn't a requirement on that. So yeah, that's the work I did this week / last week. Hope this works for a wiki. I'm at about 5 minutes, or sorry, for a Jing, I'm at about 5 minutes. So yeah, and thank you very much for the clarification in the comments bucket or the database bucket. and also the XML bucket. Really appreciate those answers. I hope that's the proper medium. Anyway, thank you very much. And yeah,